Welcome to Homeschool Nolan, here to help you navigate learning in the digital age. There's a lot of anxiety about AI these days and how it might take over people's jobs. But in this video, I'd like to talk about one way you can stay ahead of AI, and that's by having the right kind of specialized knowledge. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me begin by talking about specialized knowledge. I first came across this term many years ago when I was reading this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, I never got rich from reading this book, but there was always one chapter that I remembered, and that was chapter 5 on specialized knowledge. Here's what it says. Quote, "There are two kinds of knowledge. One is general, the other is specialized. General knowledge, no matter how great in quantity or variety it may be, is but of little use in the accumulation of money. The faculties of the great universities possess, in the aggregate, practically every form of general knowledge known to civilization. Most of the professors have but little money. They specialize on teaching knowledge, but they do not specialize on the organization or the use of knowledge." Now, this book was written almost 100 years ago, but these words still make sense to me today, because you're not going to get ahead in this world by having general knowledge that's readily available, especially in the age of the internet and AI. And if you trust Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, you're probably not even going to get ahead by having a PhD level knowledge. That's because computers and the internet have made it so easy now to store, share, and disseminate knowledge, and AI systems are only getting better at reasoning with the knowledge and performing tasks. Take computer programming, for example. Back when I was a kid, knowledge of computers and computer programming was much more specialized. Fewer people had computers back then, and there was no internet or YouTube videos to help people learn how to code. But as the years went along, the internet and computers made it easier and easier for people to learn how to code and to do many other things. And these skills became more general to the point where today, there are simply way too many coders compared to the available jobs. And now, of course, AI can also write code. Now, don't get me wrong. There are still many programmers today who are specialized and really good in certain fields like AI, and they have no problems finding opportunities. But skills that were once more specialized like UX design and database programming are no longer that special and won't give you any kind of edge in the job market. Now, back to the term specialized knowledge. Specialized knowledge used to mean having knowledge that few other people have. But today, it means having knowledge that AI systems don't have. You probably noticed, just about every popular AI chatbot in use today was trained on the internet. So it's impossible for humans to beat any AI by simply relying on such knowledge that's publicly available. Specialized knowledge today is not found in books or websites, but in people's heads. So how do people get that knowledge into their heads? I think there are two ways you can acquire such specialized knowledge that's useful. The best way, in my opinion, is that to get specialized knowledge is through experience. Andy Jassy, CEO of Amazon, is famous for saying there is no compression algorithm for experience. And I agree. There's simply no substitute for having done something yourself as a way to acquire new useful knowledge or skills. Think about some of the useful knowledge you might have, whether it's a trade, hobby, or a job skill. Chances are you acquired that knowledge through years of experience or practice. Okay, so experience is important. But then comes the million-dollar question. How do you get experience in the first place? Especially if you're a young person having trouble finding that entry-level job. Well, in my opinion, young people today who are just starting out have to be much more proactive in creating their own experiences. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, rather than just waiting for others, whether it's a parent or a teacher, telling you what to do, young people need to get creative and start earlier and think about how they can gain experience in a field, craft, or hobby that they're interested in. Now, one way they can do this is by starting your own business, even if it's likely to fail. Because failure itself can sometimes be the best learning experience. Back when I was a kid, way back in the 80s, my first business was delivering newspapers. It only lasted for about a year, but I gained valuable experience in learning how to deal with both happy and angry customers. Today, my 12-year-old son and his friends recently started a business washing cars. Now, I don't know how far it will go, but at least he is gaining some real-life experience about how hard it is to make money and how important it is that in order to make money, you have to be able to offer a product or service that can't just as easily be provided by others. Now, all of us, whether we're 12 years old or much older, can always learn through experience, and we should keep striving to gain new experiences, and doing so, versus, say, learning through books or surfing the internet, will be the key to having an edge over AI. Now, in addition to experience, listening is another important way to gain specialized knowledge, especially knowledge stored in other people's heads. I think listening is probably an underrated skill, but listening is one of the best ways to acquire knowledge that is only stored in the heads of other people. Listening might be hard for some people who have short attention spans. That's because when someone is talking to you, you can't always just fast forward or skip ahead to the good parts. Being a good listener requires patience and discipline and the ability to focus on what someone else is saying without being distracted by things like smartphones. But if you can master the art of listening, you will have an edge over others when it comes to gaining useful knowledge from others. So in summary, while AI continues to gain headlines about displacing human workers, you need not feel anxious if you understand what AI knows and doesn't know. And I hope this video has been helpful as you decide what type of specialized knowledge will be valuable to you as you try to stay ahead of AI. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to click subscribe for more videos like this one. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.